Why you haven't manifested your dream life and your desires. You might be someone who is trying to do affirmations, who has been trying mindfulness, lots of different techniques, but you feel like nothing is working. You think that everything is just woo-woo. In this video, I'm going to explain some principles, the general principles about manifestation that not many people talk about. And these principles are very old. They are from one book that was released 1925, I think, from Florence. And the name of the book is The Game of Life and How to Play It. Now, I'm going to share all the principles that are explained in this book that have been confirmed in many other books that I've read. And on top of that, I'm going to explain the scientific and the neuroscientific confirmation of all these principles. So I'm really excited about today's video, and I'm gonna share lots of juicy information, lots of insights. So it's gonna be a really interesting one. I have been reading this weekend, and I was thinking first to do another live stream, another topic, but the focus on the books that I've been reading during the weekend were all like pointing towards the same direction. So I was feeling like the universe is sending me a sign that I should make a video on this topic. So here we are. I woke up super motivated to talk about manifestation today. So welcome to the stream, and let's get started. I have prepared some notes so that I'm not gonna hop from one topic to another, because I'm very talkative, and if I don't have a structure to follow, I can get out of topic and talk for 24 hours. So let me just take a sip. I have coffee today, not water. Okay, so let's get started. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you believe in. So many people think that they have to learn how to manifest, but we are manifesting all the time since we are born, and we're going to be manifesting until we die. And I'm going to explain why and how. The definition of manifestation is usually misinterpreted because of the way how it's explained online. But once I explain the principles that we're going to talk about in today's video, I believe that it's going to be clear. And if you understand the principles in this video, I guarantee you 100% that your life will change completely. So yeah, you manifest what your nervous system can hold as truth. And let me give you some examples. And why I'm gonna tell you why affirmations don't work. And the reason why they fail is because your body knows when it's not in alignment. Your body knows when it's not in alignment. Did I say it correctly? Yeah. Even if you say, for example, I'm wealthy, and if it doesn't sound like it's true, the body will reject it. It will not accept it. And this is where the affirmations lose power. They're not powerful because your body is not in alignment with the words that you say. And with that, we are going to the first principle that was explained in the book, which is your word is your want. What does it mean? If you constantly say something like, I always, for example, attract emotionally unavailable men or women, or I'm terrible with money. When you're saying this is reinforcing, it trains the brain to reinforce this belief. And there is something in our brain that it calls reticular activating system, which is the filter of our brain that is noticing the things that we're teaching the brain to notice. So there is a limited amount of information that can be processed by the brain on a daily basis. So we consume a lot of information and we cannot process it all. So based on what we teach the filter of our brain to focus on, the brain will spot and focus the things that we are telling to the reticular activating system. So when you are saying, I'm terrible with money, the brain will seek to confirm this belief. The brain will seek all the opportunities and all the it will find ways to reconfirm your belief. If you didn't watch the previous live stream that I did on identity shift, I touched on this topic a little bit, and make sure I will leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. So whenever we have I am terrible, this is you are already identified with something. You have some form of identity. You have a belief that tells you that your identity is terrible with money. So what should we do? We should change and flip this in order to be able to create this new reality and this new desired life. So for example, if you're saying, I can't afford this, next time when you think of spending on something, think of how would this future version of myself respond in this situation. You should not say, I can't afford to buy something if the future version of you is a wealthy person who who can buy anything that they want. You should reframe it in a way that it's, for example, I'm learning to attract more money with ease, would be the right way to say it. Instead of saying I can't afford it, you say I'm learning to attract more money with ease. So when you say this, I'm going to explain why it's important to say it this way, and why manifestation doesn't work when you're trying to go from here to here. We have to climb step by step. So, for example, when you are saying, I can't afford this, and you are not trying to change this perspective, you're going to be stuck in this loop, and you will never teach your brain to seek for opportunities that will allow you to afford this in the future. Let me check the chat. Okay. Hello, Pradeep. Hope you're well. You're always here. Hope you had a great weekend. Yeah, so the first point, your word is your want. And in the book, it was she was giving an example of a person who was obsessing about one disease, which is a very brutal example. But I hope that it's not that brutal in real life. But she was giving an example of a person who has been obsessing about one disease, and he was a healthy man. But since he was obsessing, reading about it all the time, thinking about it, and he was training his brain to talking about it all the time, he was training his brain to just focus on it, and he had developed the same disease. And he passed away after a very short period of time. This is a very brutal example. I don't know if it's based on a true story or she was just trying to emotionally affect people by the book. But this is an example that was given in the book. Second point is fear is inverted faith. And what does it mean? It means that fear is still a belief. And when we fear something, we are just focusing on our energy on what we don't want. And that's not how we want to teach the brain. We want to teach the brain and train the brain to focus on the things that we want, not the things that we don't want. So, for example, if you're a trader, you want to make money. And if you're focused all the time, I don't want to lose money, you're training your brain to focus on losing. That's the power of the words that she's trying to explain in the book. So you don't want to focus on, I don't want to lose. You should focus on, I want to win. You have to reframe the fear. There is a general universal principle of polarity that polarity means that two different things do not exist. So it's the same thing, but at different poles. For example, good and bad, feminine and masculine, hot and cold. This is one thing, but at different poles. This is a universal principle. So with this universal principle, this inverted fate, that fear is an inverted fate, makes quite a lot of sense, because you focus on what you want, or you focus on what you don't want. So it's the same thing. You want one desire, or you don't want one, or you don't want one outcome. You want an outcome, and you don't want the opposite outcome. So the opposite is the other pole of what you actually want. So you have to always train your brain and reframe your words for the thing that you want, not the thing that you fear and you don't want. So I gave you an example with money, for example. I want to win, not I don't want to lose. I believe in love, and I think love is painful, for example. You have to always focus on the positive thing, because when you focus on the positive thing, the brain doesn't recognize imaginary and real. It doesn't recognize the words like don't, want. It just recognizes the highlighted keyword, the keyword that you're using. So whenever you're using a negative word, it highlights the negative word and it disregards the rest of the sentence. Yeah, that's how primitive our brain is. So we have to, even when you're joking, you should never use words like I'm stupid, or I'm dumb, or anything like this, because all these things are absorbed by the brain. And once the reticular activating system, or the filter of the brain, absorbs this word, it will start seeking for confirmations to reinforce the belief that you have. So it captures it as a belief, and then it just looks for evidence to confirm this belief and to say, yes, you are right, you are dumb, you are stupid. And you don't want to say words like that. Then the third principle is you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you believe is possible. So here, I'm going to break it down a little bit more in detail. Why? Because here is the scientific points that I want to explain, and the neuroscience behind it. So you don't manifest, the reason why I said that everyone is manifesting since we were born is because we all have beliefs, and whatever we believe comes to our life. I believe that I know that you have heard the phrase, whether you can or you can't, you're right. I don't know who said this quote, but it's quite a popular one. And the reason for that is because is again bonded to this principle. So you manifest, your manifestation is your beliefs played out in the three-dimensional world. So you seeing your beliefs in the three-dimensional world. But in order for things that have being created in the spiritual world or quantum physics, you have to first imagine it. You have to first create it in the outside of the three-dimensional world in order for it to be played out in the three-dimensional world. So when you believe something, it will happen. That's why it's very important to reflect and to go deep into the subconscious mind to understand your beliefs. Because you don't, again, I'm going to repeat, you don't manifest what you want, what your logical brain wants, you manifest what you believe. And I will share a personal example where my mind was completely blown. And if I didn't go that deep, I wouldn't have become aware of where this belief was coming from and how it was holding me back. So, for example, when I was a teenager or when I was in my early 20s, I had already pictured my perfect partner in my head. So I already knew what I want to, what kind of qualities I want in this person, not from a physical look, but more like core qualities. So I knew what kind of partner I wanted. I knew what are the things that I wouldn't negotiate. I knew what were the things that I would negotiate, and I knew what I wanted, and I knew what I didn't want. So where is the desire coming from? The desire comes from the conscious mind, the logical brain. You have to activate your thinking brain, and the thinking brain is thinking, okay, do I want a person who is going to disrespect me? No, I don't want this. So I want the person who will respect me. Do I want the person who will misuse me? No, I want the person who is going to be supporting me, who will be my best friend, a person who will challenge me to become a better version of myself. So I already had like a list, and I had defined how this perfect partner that I'm looking for should look like. But what I didn't know is that we manifest what we believe. We don't manifest what we want. So when I started like dating, and by the way, I'm never talking about my love life. I've been talking about my love life and dating and only with my sister and my accountability partner, no one else. So this is a little bit vulnerable and uncomfortable to share online, especially if my parents are going to watch this. Luckily, they don't speak English. But my mom is an FBI. She will find a way to translate the live stream. But never mind. I'm going to share it because it's a very, it was part of my journey, and my story might resonate with other people, and it might change other people's lives, because it was a huge realization that changed my mind completely. So when I started dating, I was all the time like looking for, okay, I don't want those characteristics, I want these characteristics. But so my brain was analyzing and filtering the guys that I thought that I want. And then I started dating one guy, and he seemed to had the things that I was looking for. So the things that I didn't want, and I'm gonna share another thing that is quite vulnerable that I've never shared online, and I've shared only with people that are very close to me. Let me just... Yeah, so I started dating a person that I thought that he has similar interests as me, similar values, that we were in alignment and all these things. And the person in general looked like the person that I was looking for. But when I started analyzing the way he was treating me and the way how things were happening later on, I noticed similar patterns to what I was experiencing as a child. And this was something that I didn't want, but the beliefs of I'm not good enough and the people pleaser that was in me was still active. And this person was triggering all these things that I wanted to avoid. Why did I attract this person? Because it's not what I want, it's what I believe. So I believe that I'm not good enough. I believe that saying no disappoints people, and that I'm not a good person if I say no, if I don't help, if I don't support. So I was all the time putting other people's needs before mine, which is the biggest mistake ever. If you don't have respect towards yourself, if you don't set boundaries to protect yourself, no one else will protect you. No one else will set the boundaries for you. No one else will respect you. So I didn't learn these things as a child because of lots of things that happened that will lead to the next principle, but let me first explain in detail. But I'm trying just to find the right words so that it's not gonna come across, it's not gonna be misunderstood, because it's a very sensitive topic for me. So what I noticed with this person is that it was replaying my relationship with my father as a kid. So my father used to, like, whenever I would go for a competition, I would win the competition, or I would like win a second, third place. And my father would never say in front of me, I'm proud of you and good job. He would always say, you can do better. You can do better. Like, this was always his comment. Even though behind, like, when I wasn't present in the room, he was always, my mom was always telling me, he's so proud of you. He's bragging to everyone about your achievements. But in front of me, he was never like telling me, I'm so proud of you, you're so smart, good job, well done. He was always saying, you can do better. And this integrated this belief in me that I'm not good enough and that I have to chase the next goal all the time. Another thing was, since I was a kid that was curious and I was finding solutions for almost everything on my own, when my parents noticed that I was the one who is curious and figuring it out, they started giving me tasks for my siblings to help them with different things. But they didn't, because they didn't understand the psychological part of how to, they did what they could do with the awareness that they had. So I no longer blame them. Before, I was feeling like a lot of resentment, and I was blaming my parents for treating us the way that they treated us, and treating us differently. Like, we are three sisters, and they were treating the three of us in a completely different way. And I couldn't understand, like, why is it that way? Why would my parents ask me to stay and help to my older sister with her art lessons, to paint things for her? And then I was also like taking care of my little sister. I couldn't understand why would my parents treat me this way. But they just noticed that I was capable of handling it, and they were like giving me all these tasks to me. So this made me, this programmed the belief in me that I have to take care of people, that I have to put needs of other people before mine. Because, for example, I would be sleepy, but my mom would say, your sister has to bring her painting tomorrow for grade. Can you help her? Because you're really good at painting. So just help her so that she can get a good grade. So I would not go to bed. I would not sleep. I would stay up until very late and paint my sister's painting so that she can get a good grade. And even though it's such a small thing when you think about it, and it has happened when I've been like 7, 8, 9 years old, 10 years old, somewhere there, it was happening that actually this became a habit. So as soon as once I started, I never finished until I moved out from home. I was all the time the one painting, and not only to my siblings, I started even painting the paintings of my neighbors as well. But this belief was integrated into me. And to go back to the relationship, it was not a relationship, I was just dating this person, because once I started reflecting and journaling, I understood that this is not the person that I'm really looking for, because I started identifying the triggers that used to trigger me as a kid. But even though I knew that this person was not the right person for me, the belief that I couldn't change, and I wasn't doing back then even inner work, or I was talking to a psychologist, and this person would blame me for, not blame me, but criticize me for talking to a psychologist. This person would tell me, no psychologist will help you. Like, you're just like that. just accept this. You're just an emotional person, and you're just too sensitive, and you're this way and you're that way, and you're not good enough, in other words. And this is definitely not a supportive partner. So he was just confirming all these things. And I was aware that this is not the right person for me, but it was so difficult for me to pull myself away from him. And I was thinking, like, how can I be so aware of this, but not being able to pull myself out of it? And back then, I was also feeling a lot of resentment, as I mentioned, and frustration and anger towards my parents. Because I was at a stage when I was feeling very depressed, disappointed, anxious, and I was mad at everyone and everything, so to say. That's how my life was so miserable, and when your life is miserable, you're mad at everything and everyone. And I was struggling, I was sabotaging myself, which was adding even more cortisol, even more stress, and this was making me even more sensitive to everything. So once I started healing, my healing journey, and I started digging deeper into my subconscious mind to understand, this is a belief that I have, and I have to learn how to process it. I have to teach my brain to get out of this belief, to shift this identity. Once I started doing that, that's when I realized that it's super important, first of all, to become aware of where the problem comes from, because if we are not aware, we cannot change anything. And how do we become aware? We become aware by learning, by knowledge. People say knowledge is power. It is power only when you put it in action. So before, I was reading a lot about psychology, I was reading a lot about neuroscience, but I had the knowledge, but I wasn't applying the knowledge that I had. But once I started applying the knowledge and making the shift, and why did the reason why I wasn't applying the knowledge was mainly because I wasn't, my brain wanted to keep me in the same loop over and over again. The ego wanted to keep me in the same loop over and over again. Because as I said in the previous live stream about the identity shift, and I'm going to link the live stream in the left-right corner for the ones that are going to watch this in the future. As I mentioned in the previous live stream, our brain is scared of unfamiliar. So what is scary for our brain is not the actual scary thing or the actual good or bad thing, it's just the unfamiliar. The brain doesn't like unfamiliar things because they are scary. The brain doesn't know how to handle them. Why? Because we operate on an autopilot mode. And it will, if we want to change and expose ourselves to the unfamiliar, our brain consumes much more energy. So I wasn't applying this knowledge because I was it was a defense mechanism. I'm explaining and breaking all of this down in the course that is launching soon. So once I started implementing and applying this knowledge, I started changing. I started shifting. And I started understanding that, okay, so my parents did the best thing that they could do with the awareness and consciousness that they had. And when you have a good intention, like this is the consciousness, this is the awareness, the level of awareness that they had. They didn't know that giving me a task of me painting all the paintings of my siblings is gonna teach me to become a people pleaser. They weren't aware of that. So once I understood that my parents just had a really good intention to think about the best of the three of us, it was very easy, much easier for me to accept what they have done, which I felt resentment for before. And this is where the 4 point of in the book comes in. It's manifestation cannot happen if there is resentment. So it was forgiveness is a manifestation key. It was something like that. I don't know if I pulled up the quote. There is another quote. But so when you hold resentment, it blocks energy. And forgiveness, it's not that you are excusing someone, it's more of unblocking the energy that is blocked. So it's important to forgive in order to be able to manifest, but forgiveness is not, for example, someone treating you disrespectfully and you being like fine with it. No, you have to know how to set boundaries. And forgiveness doesn't mean that you have to go and say, I forgive you. Like, you treated me like a shit, but it's all right. No, that's not forgiveness. Forgiveness is making inner peace with whatever have been triggering you from before. So, for example, once I understood, because when I was reading a lot of psychology, but not like truly implementing and putting everything in practice, I was like, how could my parents do this to me when this was teaching me to become this type of person? But I wasn't thinking of the fact that they were not aware that all these tasks are gonna teach me to become a people pleaser. And all these comments are gonna teach me to believe that I'm not good enough. So once I understood that their intention was good and that they just wanted the best for me, and I'm sure that they want the best for me because I can feel the love that in my family from the bottom of my heart, it was much easier for me to accept the things as they are. And reconnection successful. Let me see. Can you please let me know if I'm back? I lost internet connection. I lost internet connection and I don't know if it reconnected well. Okay, now I can see that I'm back. So, what was I talking about? I lost internet connection. Yeah, so I was talking about forgiveness. So once I understood that my parents did the best that they could do with the consciousness that they had and awareness that they had, it was much easier for me to accept the situation as it was, be more empathic and understanding towards them, and shifting the anger and the frustration and the resentment that I felt towards them from negative to positive, towards gratitude. Being grateful to my parents that they exposed me to such kind of circumstances so that I can build resilience. I learned so many skills and I became the person that I am today. So once I made peace inside of me about my childhood, about all the emotions that I was experiencing as a kid, once I made peace with myself and I made peace with my parents, it was very easy to walk away from this person, which is mind-blowing. Like, I was dating this person for 5 years. He might be even watching this. Never mind. But I was dating this person for 5 years. And I was aware from pretty much after a couple of months after we started dating, I was aware that he was not the right person for me. But I couldn't walk away. And it took me whole 5 years to make peace with myself and to say, I'm done with this person. And I walked away. And something that Dr. Tara Swart is, she is one of the best neuroscientists in the world. She mentioned that there is a research that shows that people connect based on emotional wounds. So if you are hurt people. That's why it's so important to heal yourself, because if you're hurt, you're gonna hurt others. You're gonna affect others, and people connect based on the emotional wounds because it's related to quantum physics, to the frequency. So when you are hurt, you are at specific frequency because you feel anger, you feel frustration, you feel resentment, and this sets you at one frequency. You can, in this case, if there is a healed person, they're on a much higher frequency than yours. And the healed person will feel and will recognize that you're on a lower frequency because you will make them feel more drained. You will absorb energy from that person, and you cannot connect, you cannot match. So we match with people based on our beliefs and our frequency. So once I healed, I wasn't feeling any kind of attraction towards that person whatsoever. So she's always telling that whenever a person starts a healing journey, if you're with a partner, you should encourage your partner to join you in the healing journey and do the growth together if you haven't done the journey yet. Because if one of you heals and the other one doesn't, you're not going to feel attracted anymore. Because it's not about physical attraction, it's about the true bonding that is producing oxytocin and vasopressin in our body, which are the bonding hormones. The vasopressin is more for men, the oxytocin is more for women. So if this frequency and if the frequency is not matching, there won't be any attraction. And cheating and lots of other things. I'm not going to bring all of these topics in this live stream because it's going to last forever. I have purposefully limited myself to have live streams while my battery is I don't have an output to charge my laptop with the purpose. I don't want to drag these live streams to be 3 hours, because when I start talking about a topic that I'm really passionate about, I can go on for hours and hours. So cheating is not only related to morals. It is related to morals, but not only to morals. There is so much more. There is so much more science behind it. And one of the science-backed proves why certain things happen is exactly what I explained now. So if you are healed, or you're starting your healing journey and your partner doesn't join you or on this journey, you're not going to feel attracted to each other anymore once you get out of the frequency that you are at now. And when you start personal growth, your personal growth journey, the personal growth journey starts with low frequency, and you're raising your frequency all the time. This is what personal growth is. For every next level you reach, for every comfort zone that you break and you expand your comfort zone, you expand your rubber band, you can handle, whenever you can handle more, your frequency rises. Why? Because it activates the chemicals in the body that will boost your confidence, that will make you feel better, that will make you attract more. Because once you start producing the hormones that are making you to feel good, this automatically shifts your frequency and makes you to attract more. The energy is higher and you can attract more of what you want. So let me just repeat the points and then we can go to the next one. So the first one was, your word is your want. Be careful what kind of words you use, because your brain filters the key word, not the whole sentence. And the reticular activating system is going to notice and reinforce and reconfirm the words that you are picking. Second one is, fear is inverted faith. So the principle about polarity that I explained. The third one is, you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you believe. So Another thing about manifestation, when you start with the affirmations, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm this, I'm that, you cannot believe, let's say if let me give a money example because everyone can relate to this. If you're making $1,000 per month today, you cannot think of reaching 1 million in a month. Like it's so unrealistic, and the body will feel the disalignment. The body will feel that this is a joke. This is not true. You have to, manifestation should be done step by step, because as I said, we manifest what we believe, not what we want. So we want $1 million, $1 million per month. Everyone wants money because money is giving us freedom. It's giving things that money are kind of like ruling the world. Unfortunately, that's the truth, but it's not the key to happiness, the key to whatever, but we all need money. So that's why people are so emotionally attached to money. But when you understand that you only can manifest what you truly can believe, you have to take step by step. So if you're making $1,000 per month today, don't try to manifest $1 million. Try to only do inner work and try to understand what your body feels aligned to. What is the next closest stage that feels true, that feels aligned to your body? Because if it doesn't feel aligned to your body, you can repeat as many affirmations as you want and they're not going to work. So you have to train your brain to believe something that feels aligned, not something that is not real. So in the previous live stream, I mentioned that you want to paint the future picture of you as good as possible. But here, now I'm giving you the steps. You cannot jump from here to here immediately. As I said, we have to make everything sustainable. We have to take it step by step. Now I'm explaining to you what is the mistake that people usually do. They try to jump from 0 to 100 at once, but it's not good. You cannot do it. You have to start small. So if you're making 1,000, maybe think of, okay, let me manifest to be able to double this amount in the next month or in the next 3 months. Or maybe you can manifest and think of, let me try to attract an opportunity that will give me $5,000 per month. Once you achieve $5,000 per month, then increase to $10,000 per month. It's all individual. You don't have to listen to me to say, okay, I'm making $1,000 today, so let me just think of 2,000. No, just do inner work, go inward, focus on yourself, start journaling and try to understand what your body feels right with. Your body will tell you the truth. Your body knows the truth. Pay attention to how you feel whenever you think of a certain goal or a certain thing that you want to manifest. Because we want to train the brain to integrate the new belief that is going to feel real. Because if it's not real, it's not going to manifest. So the third one, I mentioned it, forgiveness is key to manifestation. I gave the personal example, and it's very important to not to forget that, because if you hold on to resentment, if you hold on to negative beliefs and negative emotions, you are blocking a lot of energy. And when you're blocking energy, you cannot raise, you cannot absorb, you cannot attract more. So if you have blocked energy and negative emotions and negative energy can be stored in muscles. So for example, if you feel tension in your shoulders, if you feel pressure in your chest, if you feel discomfort in your body, it might be a sign that you have blocked emotions. And there are so many different techniques on how to release them, which I'm sharing in the course, of course. And I'm sharing a bunch of things here as well. So the fourth one is forgiveness. The fifth one is the law of non-resistance. What does it mean? What you resist persists. So the more that you don't want something, the more that it will stay. So for example, if you hate your job, if you hate the job that you have at the moment, the more you say, oh, I hate this job, oh, I can't handle this anymore, the more you like, it builds on the emotion, builds on the frustration, it builds on the anger, it fuels the hate, and it keeps you stuck. It makes you not to be able to to go to the next step, to get out of the situation. So instead of thinking like, I hate my job and I don't want to go to work, I hate this, I hate the environment, I hate the boss, I hate everything. Instead of thinking this way, shift it to something positive. I'm grateful that this job is giving me X so that I can buy Y. But I'm looking for another opportunities that will help me to level up. I'm grateful that this job taught me this skill, and it taught me that those things about myself that I wasn't aware about. So for example, I didn't like my university program, but instead of thinking of oh, I wasted so much time, like I wasted 5 years on an engineering program, and I was holding on to this resentment, oh, how could you waste so much time on something that you didn't like or something like that. I shifted it to, I'm happy that I went through this program that showed me how misaligned it is with my desire, so that it motivated me to focus on the things that I loved, on the things that I'm motivated about, on the things that I desire, on the things that I'm interested in and passionate about. So if I didn't go through this university program that I disliked, that I didn't feel aligned with, that didn't make me feel good, that wasn't interesting for me, I wouldn't have I wouldn't have built this strong desire towards the things that I'm really passionate about, like trading, psychology, neuroscience, mindset. So always try to shift the thing that you want to, that you're trying to resist, shift it to something positive. Because when you're trying to resist something, you're attached to an outcome. You're attached to the outcome that you want to avoid. The outcome that you want that you desire, and the more you are attached, the more that it will not come to you. So detachment is another thing that is like super important, which I'm again explaining and breaking down in detail in the course. It's something like the more. Let me think of another example. So for example, when something is not going well, try to shift it to neutral first, and then try to explain to yourself that this is something temporary and that you are grateful and happy with the current, but you're working on improving. You're working on looking for another opportunities and taking the next step in your life. And faith. The sixth one, the last concept that is explained in the book is faith is acting as if before it shows up. What does it mean? It's the true faith is when you prepare before things appear, and it is also like living like things have already happened. And this is the key to manifestation. As I mentioned before, for the identity shift, that you have to first feel like this new person before you become this new person. That's how manifestation works as well. The same principle it's the same principle, but explained from different perspectives. So, for example, if you want to move, if you don't like the apartment where you're living at the moment, start looking for furniture. Start buying things for the new apartment that you have imagined in your head. Or if you want to, for example, if you want to find love, if you want to find a partner, start working, doing inner work on how you would feel when you're in love. What would you do with your loved one? Where would you go? Go on dates, go date yourself and imagine like this person is sitting next to you. That's me, Julia. That's what I'm doing. So train your brain, because this is how quantum physics work. You cannot become someone else before you become energetically that person. And you cannot manifest something before you have imagined it in your head, before you have created it in the outside of the three-dimensional world. I don't know how to call it in a better way. So these are the 6 principles. So let me just read them quickly again. Your word is your want. Fear is inverted fate. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you believe is possible. Forgiveness is manifestation key. The law of non-resistance. So what you resist persists. Hating your current life will keep you stuck in it. So you should not hate it. You should shift your perspective and find the good things in what you're currently doing so that you can slowly get out of it. And the last one, faith, is acting as if. So when you truly believe in something, when you truly have faith for something, you should act like it's truly happening. So if you, for example, if I have a faith that I'm gonna make it, like I'm gonna be a millionaire, I should not think like the current version of me that is not a millionaire. I should not think of, money is scarce, like I'm not gonna have enough, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. I should always shift my mindset towards thinking like, how can I afford, I really like this, how can I afford this? For example, something that you can do for a car that you like and you want to buy, but you can't afford to buy it now, you don't have the money to buy it now, because you don't want to take a credit and put yourself in debt. This is the worst thing that you can do. If you want to buy a car, you can just say like, I like this car, but instead of saying, but I can't afford it, you can say, I like this car, what can I do so that I can afford it? So like, what can I do so that I can buy it in the future or in the near future? So always shift things into something positive and always think, how would my future self react in this specific situation? So once you start training your brain to work this way, you will see that magic will happen. And people that know me for a couple of years, they know how much transformation there is in me. They know how much inner work that I've done, and they know how much I changed my life in the past 2-3 years. So they can confirm how much change they notice in me, and I promise you, like if you start doing inner work, if you start digging and understanding and reprogramming your subconscious mind, your life will change completely. And all these principles that I shared today, I want to mention one more thing. There is difference between methods and strategies and principles. Principles is the laws of the universe. It's the general laws that will never change. A principle is a principle. It will never change. A strategy and a method will change. Depends on technology, depends on the strategy and the method can depend on lots of different things. But the general principles of life will never ever change. So if you want to dig deeper, I highly recommend you to look into books that are like the book that I mentioned today that inspired me to do this live stream, which is called The Game of Life and How to Play It from Florence. And there are lots of other books that are like very old books, but they have, and all of them have principles. And the more that you read the principles, the more that you connect the dots and you start understanding them. What is good for me is that I can understand all these principles from a neuroscientific standpoint, from a psychological standpoint, from a spiritual standpoint, like quantum physics. So when I can understand all these principles from different perspectives, I can connect the dots, and this is putting even more faith in the things that I know. I have more faith in my knowledge, and I know I'm certain that if I do these things, I know that things will happen. I know that I can manifest the life that I want to manifest. I know that I know how to align my desires with my wants. I know how to align my desires with my beliefs. So when you learn to do that, you're gonna live your dream life. It's as simple as that. It's very simple when you make it, when you learn the whole process, when you go through the journey. The journey is a very difficult one. Personally, I have been doing inner work and working on myself for years and years, but the real healing happened within a year. And this year has been since I went to Asia. This was when the drastic major transformations happened for me. That was when I finally reached this alignment and healed from this limiting beliefs and traumas and unblocked the stored energy that was sitting in my body. The healing itself happened in a very short period of time, but the journey was a very long one. So if I compare, it's similar to trading, and it's similar to how pretty much everything operates in life. Once you start, you're a beginner. So you have to first gather knowledge, because you don't know what you don't know. So you have to first become aware of what are the things that you don't know, and how are you going to become aware of the things that you don't know? By researching, reading, learning, going deeper. Once you become aware of what you don't know, you sit and put effort into learning and practicing so that you can learn the things that you don't know, and you can understand the things that you don't know. Once you understand and learn the things that you didn't know, and you implement them, you're slowly building a skill. Once you start, how do you build a skill? Through repetition and consistency. You remember, if you watched the previous live stream, I was talking about or I'm not sure if I talked about this in the previous live stream or in the previous live streams or webinars, but our brain is, there is something that is called synaptic pruning. And the more that we repeat something, the more strong the connections in the brain are. And that's how we build a skill. That's how we improve, and that's how we become this new version, and then we just level up. So the whole process is an endless process, but it all begins with first not knowing what you don't know, then exploring, gathering knowledge, becoming aware. Once you become aware, you start working, and this skill development is the longest stage and you have to go through trial and error in order to build to acquire the skill. And once you acquire the skill, it's easy. It becomes easy. So same as trading. At the beginning, you're gonna burn accounts, you're gonna lose, you're gonna try different strategies. Then you're gonna find one strategy, you're gonna nail it down, you're gonna understand more and more and more. And once you develop a solid system, you see that trading is not hard. It's super simple, but I was making it to be hard. So once you find what is aligned with you, once you develop the skill, you develop the edge, then once you're kind of not professional, but you are already skilled, and you know what you're doing, you're going on a good path, you're improving, you're just adding more knowledge, more awareness, so that you can just level up, but it's no longer as difficult as it has been at the beginning during the whole skill development. I hope it's clear. This is a trading example, but that's how it is with everything. Like even, I can give another example, like driving a car. If you're just starting to learn to drive a car, sorry. So if you're just starting to learn to drive a car, you feel uncomfortable, you feel scared, you're first reading the theory. So once you learn the theory, just having knowledge is not useful. You're not going to sit in the car and just start driving without a problem. You first gather the knowledge, you understand the theory. Once you understand the theory, you get into the car and you start practicing. What do? You implement the knowledge that you've learned. You put the knowledge that you have into practice. And when do you become comfortable? You become comfortable after after some time. You have to drive for a certain period of time before you start feeling comfortable on the road, and this becomes second nature for you, and you can just do it without thinking about it in the future. So at the beginning, it's difficult, it's scary, it's uncomfortable. You have to put conscious effort into it, but with time, it gets easy, and it becomes a part of you. It becomes your second nature. And once you have developed the skill, then you can listen to a book, you can listen to a podcast, you can talk to your partner, your kids. You can notice things outside, stare at windows, whatever, when you're you can do so many other things while you're driving once your skill is developed, because you don't have to use your brain to think of, oh, should I, if you're driving a manual car, for example, should I shift to the first, the second speed, the third speed, or what should I do? It becomes your second nature, and you don't have to think how to drive. You already know. It's already in your brain. Let me check the chat. And let me know if it's clear. So I'm diving very deep into every single concept in the course, and the course will be launching in hopefully latest 1st of June. If you're interested in digging deeper, in investing in yourself, starting your healing journey, make sure to check out the link that I put in the description. You can submit your email, and I'm going to send you an email as soon as the course is launched. I'm so excited about it. I'm super excited about it because everything that I've put together into this course is what changed my life. And I can't wait to start helping others to change their lives, because this is the most beautiful thing ever. It makes me so happy and so excited. So I can't wait to launch the course. If it was only this course was recorded in March for my birthday, but I'm still waiting on my editor to help me out with putting this together. It took way too long time, but I can't wait to launch it. It's gonna be so cool to help others to go through the journey that I went through, because I know how hard it is to be in this dark place. I know how hard it is to be confused, lost, desperate, frustrated. I know how it is to be in a dark hole. So I really want to help people to get out of the dark hole and see how beautiful life is, and to learn how to play the game of life, as the book says. Something that made me read this book in just a day. It's a short one, by the way, but it began with the words, people think that life is about let me think, how was it? It was something like, people think of that life is a battle, but life is not a battle, it's a game. They just have to learn how to play it. And I was like, sold, I have to finish this book. and it's a really good one. I highly recommend you to check it out. Okay, let me check the chat, and I'm gonna finish soon. Let me know if you have any questions. Oh, I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that it was helpful and interesting. Okay, so time to wrap it up. I even have a trade open. I'm gonna go to the gym straight after the live stream, and tonight I'm gonna go to dance bachata. Oh, I love bachata. It's such a sensual dance. It fills me with so much energy. So as soon as I finish with the live stream, 2 hours gym session, having a good dinner, and then I'm gonna go and dance. Important to do things that you like doing so that you can raise your frequency much quicker. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. One more reminder, if you're interested in the course material, and also I will be sending a bunch of emails and lots of free insights if you're not interested in the course. If you want to receive like journal prompts and different hints, book recommendations, you can subscribe to my newsletter and we're going to connect there. Thank you so much once again for watching. Let me know in the comments what were your biggest takeaways from this video. Make sure that you're taking notes, because if you're not taking notes, the knowledge that I'm giving will just evaporate. And I'll see you soon again. Take care, and sending you so